Times you guys couldn't hear any of that music or anything. I'm sorry. Could you guys hear any of that? Let's see.
Nope, you just came on.
Well, look at us. Go us. I don't know if any of this is gonna work, but I think I got the YouTube stuff pretty locked in. So small favors, I suppose. How's your guys' day? Did you guys stop trading after this morning? Anybody? Or do you guys keep trading this morning?
No, I stopped trading after the chop this morning on NQ.
Yeah, but then look, as soon as we walked away, everything was smooth as butter. Got pretty smooth. But good job for those who stopped. Honestly, for real, for real. Okay, I'm gonna go advanced portion of the screen, make sure we're sharing all the right stuff, maybe. And then I got all of our heads and stuff in the way twice. Whoopsie. How about who was profit on yesterday? Whoopsie. As in you're done. You got some profits this morning. Not overdoing it, hopefully, ideally. Look at Nas, man.
Made $100 this morning. That's because and what's up, Jenny? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
Good, good, good. Yeah, made right at 100. You know that first trade, man, that first trade always gets me, Jenny. And what I mean by that is it's like I could be up. I gotta change my psychology, man. I think because uh we'll talk about it a little later after we go through the charts and take a trade. But I mean, I just had this psychology set like I supposed to make $300 to $400, and I'm not thinking about like take what the market gives you. So that first trade, I'm like up 150, and then boom, I let it go against me. I watch yours. I think you was up like 300 400, and then boom, it went against us. I mean, we was saved. Our positions was we used our trailing stops, right? But we let it come all the way back down.
On
Oh,
gold,
man.
on gold, I got 150.
Okay. I didn't
And
take, I don't think I took gold. I don't think, but
well, my ES trade, we can go to ES.
yeah, I did take gold because that was the second call, right? Second
No, I
trade.
was gonna say, wait, on ES, I got this whole thing. On gold, gold was the best move of the day. I did not get the whole
Yep.
gold. But this one, it chopped around, almost knocked us out, and then came all the way down. My trailing stop knocked me out on this wick down here. So I got most of ES, but of course that wasn't the banger today. This was the, oh my goodness. Hold on, where? Oh wait, there it is. That little baby trade. I got a baby bit of that baby trade from that huge move.
That was the first one we took this morning. Yeah. Gold.
I mean,
Gold was the first trade, right?
that was it went straight to target, no pullback or nothing, but I had that trailing stop on and I
That's
went,
what happened.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think I want to talk I just want to ask you tonight, we talk about that a little bit more, man. I'm trying to get better at that, managing my trades better. Is
deal.
that, yeah.
I think in order to do that, we'd probably have to turn off some of those like trailing stop features. Like there's just no way around it. There's
Yeah.
there's you could start it like at 1.5 to 1, for example, or 1 to 1 instead of, whatever it's at now. I don't know what yours are set at, but
Yeah.
without that, not so much. So but let me do the disclaimer real quick. Obviously, don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Pretty simple. Trading is not as hard as we make it, but it's not as easy as it looks. So it sure does look easy to click a button buy. Oh my gosh, go back test. You're a billionaire. But this is already being recorded, so nothing, everything we've talked about is recorded, educational, blah 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 purposes only. As you guys know, I think prop firms is just a really cheap, inexpensive way into the market. Although I still do agree your personal accounts are going to be the easiest. I love taking my, 1 to 3 trades, 3 to 5 sometimes, is less than 10 for sure on my AMP accounts. And I'm like, ooh, this is easy. And win, lose, or draw, and I walk away. And the management, everything's just simple. But if you don't have a lot of money, the prop firm's 33 bucks for Apex, 100 whatever bucks for Take Profit Trader. Obviously, if you're doing that, use code 6FTC for Blue Guardian, Take Profit, or Apex and come along for the ride with us. But be mindful. Don't overdo it too much. So, last but not least, we are giving away tons of prop firms. I think we're close to $750,000 worth of prizes, and it is only May. So, whatever the contest is tonight, my team may or may not have sent me some information that I may or may not have missed. Don't laugh. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss it today. What the secret code is. Maybe it's Sydney. We're gonna say Sydney or whatever the giveaway says to do, do that, and then you can win. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. Also, caveat, we need to put the disclaimer, if you live in some weird, far away country, I love you and I support you, but I don't have a lot of access to getting funds to you guys at this point. So just make sure that you have access to something that an American connect to. Otherwise, I can't honor you, and I'm just going to comp you with a couple $100 worth of free mentoring or something along those lines because it's all I can do. I can't access everything. So that's on whatever bureaucracy from other countries, we'll call it, and leave it at that. But can you guys hear music or no? Is it just me?
We
No.
hear you.
Do you
No,
hear
it's just you.
just me? Well, I'm gonna turn that off because that's pretty senseless. Pretty senseless. But okay, so here we are. I have been loving the breakout at a lot of different times of the day. Pre-market is so clean and simple. There's no drama, no nothing. We are 5 minutes before we get where we're going. So the breakout at the top of the hour, the 30-minute mark, based off of your own availability, I think is a great way to be. Of course, I was looking for, is this that's early afternoon? Was looking for a potential pullback, didn't get one. These are just little flags and breakouts I was looking at. But here's gold, guys. You guys already have this on your chart, but this is the 5-minute chart from where we closed to where we opened. We opened here, popped up, and we're sitting pretty much at yesterday's close. Obviously, I think I'm not the only one looking for potential sell down, but that's a counter trend trade. And remember, big picture stuff, we still have this massive gap to the upside. Now, do I think we might get a pullback into this before we get it? Sure, but at this point, the market's leaving gaps and imbalances really everywhere. It's not the same market that we were trading last year, so it's something we need to keep in mind. Obviously, big picture stuff, totally biased on the buy, but tonight we're going to do whatever it goes through. Preferably, I'd like a short-term sell, but we'll see because the market is being the market. And right now we're breaking below JGS signal setting up. We're below the moving averages. Volume is to the downside. Trend is moving to the downside. We just need to break that current 1 2 minute candle, and then we're pretty good to go on a potential sell. So we'll see if we get it or not. We need to break the open price too. Need to break that open price, and I'll be pretty happy selling it down, kind of clearing some of these imbalances. But that's gold. So ES. Market closed. We opened, popped down, still failed to come and take yesterday's lows, and it looks like we're coming back up. Got really weak lows. Obviously, my bias on most of these indices is to the downside, but again, got a ton of imbalances, ton of gaps to the downside. If you just zoom in, you can see them. We'll see. We've got this really broadening kind of channel, this broadening triangle forming. We haven't even touched the bottom of it, even if it is broadening like a piece of pizza, if you guys can see that without me having to go mark it all up. So even if we are to continue this exaggerated move to the upside, I still think we have some more downward potential, but it's anybody's guess at this point. We're going to take the breakout according to how it sets up and just follow the rules therein. Same kind of concept. If I'm willing to buy this, I need it to get above market's closing price from yesterday before I'm willing to buy it. So that's ES. NQ, pretty comparable, slightly different price movement. We're sitting currently at market's open price. We've already kind of bounced around there a couple of times. Wicked up, came down. This was yesterday's pre-market, no longer relevant, but pre-market low, which we barely just got below. It took all day to get below. And they're shooting up now. 1 minute to open. And that's it. I've been looking a little bit at crude. Early morning, of course, we sold down a smidge, took out these levels, and I said, well, I'd be looking for the buy. And what we do, we bought all day long. Huge momentum buy. I wasn't in it, but it was a beautiful trade. It was good to be able to see that. It was good to be able to see that what was going to happen. I mean, sure, take out these levels, but then we already know what we're looking for. So pretty simple, smooth as butter. Let's see. Butter, butter. My moving average is about a 20. I'll go over that here in a second. So it's a moving average cloud just because it thickens it up a little bit, which I kind of like. It was saving me from the me parts.
That kind of looks like gold.
This looks, and gosh, NQ is moving up with the fiery passion. Last minute of the candle too. That last minute of that hourly candle, NQ is just taking it. Boom. All right, so we're on the 2-minute time frame. We are going to be patient. Let's let this play out. I wish it didn't make this big move right before we wanted to take it, but we'll see how the next 2 minutes form. Gold, I'm really hoping it doesn't make some outsized move, but it looks like it is already. Remember, there's a couple of lows that we need to kind of go up against too, so that's going to be relevant. Gold. I really would like to take gold. Take oil down to yesterday's, well, I guess that's Monday's high and yesterday's pre-market high. Those are great. That's a perfect targets. A lot of confluence there. And then of course an imbalance in previous highs. Beautiful setup. That setup's up. What are you guys looking at? I've got both chats open from YouTube and from Zoom. So what is it you guys got your eye on?
I'm
I'm
looking
in
at
the
gold.
NQ.
Okay, so one's got NQ, one's got gold. Both of them 2-minute charts.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 minute chart for me.
Well, if you're on NQ with the 1 minute, you probably already got that break.
Right,
Almost.
I did. I should probably close out.
Is look what gold did. Gold pulled down and pulled all the way back up. Okay, pulled down first hour portion of the hourly candle. Didn't even really take a low. And Q's going up at the same time. So I'm not in love with that break. I really want to see it kind of, especially not with 6 seconds left on that candle forming that wick. I'm gonna keep watching this. And NQ made a pretty outsized move. But we did come up. Oh, that's the 1 minute. I was like, why is this not? It ain't it. There we go. NQ is still sitting in range.
So
Gold.
Jenny, I took it off of the Sydney sessions breakout information. And so now we're technically in the Asian session, but I took the breakout from that one.
Okay, so you took the breakout of what time, or like what did you have your set to?
I had it set for the Sydney session starting at 5. So I was still looking at that before this 8 o'clock started. Before the 8 o'clock started, I got in the trade based off a break above of the original 6 o'clock formation of the Sydney session on the indicator.
Okay. So you are using a bigger time frame? Because if you had it at 5 o'clock, I mean, or you'd have to like post a picture so I even knew what you were talking about.
Well, I take it based on the 15 minutes worth of candles, but I just trade it off of the one. Most of the times I trade it off of the 1 minute chart, but I have it set based on 15 minutes of candles.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. So you're using this right here says 15, but you're on the 2 minute and you had it
Right.
for like way back
Right,
here.
1 or 2 minute, 1 or 2 minute chart. So it had just started breaking out of the range that was set from the beginning of the Sydney session at 6 o'clock your time. And but it kind of now it's running into the Asian session. So I'm out of that trade. So now I'm gonna start all over based on the Asian session.
Gotcha. I'm so glad you're doing that. Honestly, there's a lot of people who are using it in just the most unique, amazing ways, and I love to hear it. Like,
I
because
thought that's the way it's supposed to be used. Well, I know you can use it different ways, but I thought this was just the basic way to use it. I just use it as the 15-minute opening range trade. That's the way I use
so
it.
you're using it at Sydney Open, like the actual Open.
Right. I do Sydney Open, and then I do the Asian session open again separately. But I kind of got caught in between before, the other one started.
Okay.
And I was wondering about, is there really a 7 o'clock open?
Well, there's not an open, but you can do the 7 o'clock. I know a few people who are using it at 7 p.m. and they're doing just fine.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Because really you're trading the momentum of that first initial portion of the candle, of the hourly candle. I mean,
Oh, okay.
take open out of it. If you've got it set on a 30-minute, you're trading that momentum of that first portion. I missed gold, guys, because I was pretty biased to the downside, so I missed this. But if you took it, you're up a little bit, you're a little bit more to target. My bias got in the way, and I really didn't want to buy that. And now I'm missing NQ and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at NQ. Very late. Way too late.
Hey, what's the indicator there? It's on the screen.
That's the 6FTC breakout indicator. This right here.
Yes, is that on TradingView or that's your personal?
This is on TradingView. So like anybody who's a member of 6FTC or Futrix, they have access to that. It gives you you can box out a lot of different times on the day. Which there's nothing else, at least currently. We were just joking in class. That's why this is called yo-yo, but you can compartmentalize a couple of different sessions. I like 8:30, I like 8 a.m., 9:30, obviously, 8 p.m., 2:30, believe it or not, I like a lot. So I like quite a few different times. And then it'll give you contract sizes based off of the amount of risk you type in. And it'll tell you the amount of ticks in that range and everything in between. So I'm in NQ, really late, awful entry.
Oh, how much is that?
Where did you get this link from? Oh, I put it in the public group on my Discord, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, cool. What's your name? Hold
My
on.
name is Nehemiah.
Nehemiah. I freaking love your name. That's an awesome name.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You can be a member of 6FTC in Discord, and you can get access to it, and as well as our EAs, where you see people posting that they're using on prop firms or doing all kinds of different stuff with it. And of course, just really everything. And then very soon it'll also be on the site, which I think the team is pretty much done with because Dragonfly, which is the other thing I spent a long time creating, is completely done too. So the next update on this it's really good. It's very, very good. There's nothing else. There's no competition in terms of what all I have built into this. And yes, you can even automate it. So that's where we're sitting on that NAS trade, that NQ trade. Not the best entry. I'm going to go ahead and lock that. Probably going to get knocked out, but there you go. Coming up on the VWAP now. So to give us an idea, now that we've got that first initial pump, 5-minute targets have already been hit. 15-minute zone has not even been filled. There's really not any imbalances down here to the downside. There's the 1-hour range, but we've also got really weak lows. So this is one of those get what you get and then let the market decide, because we didn't make the outsized moves yesterday during London, and we didn't make the outsized moves today. We sat still during New York Open and then made a few pumps, midday and then end of day. One pump down, one pump up, but no actual real movement. So because of that, we want to make sure we're not being overzealous with targets, and just not worth it. 80 bucks. And I miss gold too. But gold didn't follow through. So let's see how it turns out. Did not follow through. Yes, I didn't take. Played out beautifully. Gold I didn't take. Beautifully, 2-minute time frame. And then crude is just now trying to break out. Based off of what we saw on gold, I wouldn't be surprised. But again, I'd love to come take these levels before we buy more. We bought all day yesterday. But we already did kind of retrace enough to come and go with the trend. The bigger trend was up. We have one close outside of that zone. We're still sitting 50% in that range. Gold is still bullish. I don't know how gold, other than that gap, I don't know how gold is holding that much value. No idea. So I just got NQ tonight. That's it. That was kind of lame, but realistic. Little pullback here. I might try to see if we broke through the 20 moving average. I'd like to see us maybe nice little gap to the upside. Give a little bit more of a retracement back into this so we can confirm that downside move, and then I'll look here. But gold is too far gone. The only other option is crude for me. But we're still sitting, we're below the VWAP, we're below the moving averages. So this would be an aggressive trade for me. Very, very aggressive. So we wait. 1.5 minutes left on this candle. Do you usually trade Tokyo session? I never have. Tyler, I trade too up much. I'm trying to trade less, but I like taking 1 p.m. trade at least. Usually around this time. It depends also like on my family's schedule and stuff. So it might be around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., even 10 p.m. I'm okay with any of those moments. Opening bell, believe it or not, like the session crossover, a lot of volume. Obviously, NQ went down pretty smoothly right then, but I try not to be in then mostly because the spread and the amount of just whipsaw action is too much. You've never traded at all during this session? Or is like only New York? Tyler? I also feel like New York has been such a mess lately. Like if we go to NQ and look at New York, this is what market did at opening bell. Pew, 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 pew. Just nothing. It did this for hours, hours worth of this. And then finally we get one move to the downside, which also wasn't even that clean. So one half pump up, full pump down, medium pump up, and then the market closed. All right, here's our retest on the indices. So let's go. Not fully into there. We would want a little bit more, but we just retested the 20 on the 1 minute on NQ at least. Are you profitable? Like there's no right or wrong answer, but if what you're doing is making it to where you have payouts and you're doing really well, honestly, keep doing what you're doing. Don't make a lot of tweaks to it. If what you're doing is not giving you consistent payouts or you're still really struggling and butting your head against the wall, maybe consider looking at some pre-market. Maybe consider looking at some other sessions where you can get a simple trade. One, you don't need a whole bunch. That's that move to the downside. That's what I would tell. And gold just took off. My bias got in the way though. I don't want to have my stop loss all there. That's way too much. Way too much. We don't want one. But if we put it here, we'll balance it now. Not yet. I still want more of a retracement to try to sell. It's at least confirmed by.
You're cutting out.
Yeah, I just heard you cutting out too. Is that any better? I guess give it a second to catch up, maybe. I don't know. No, this is the 20, that's the 20, the 8, and this is a VWAP.
Where does that VWAP anchor? Is that at the New York Open?
No, this should be opened. Well, actually, based off of that price action, it would have to be on yesterday's price action because this won't.
Right where that takes a dive, that'll be where it anchors.
Yep, so it's based off of this session. You are welcome. You are welcome. I want to look for one index trade, but I'm going to be kind of patient. I got NQ.
There's something I want to point out here. and that is I passed up on S&P tonight and went with NQ because if you look at that 6 ticks with it's not a very big move. And to get your payout, you have to make up for your spread, which was sitting at least 1 tick, probably 2, and plus the commissions. So that's small. It's kind of hard to get where you want to go. But on NQ, at 33 ticks, it was much easier to overcome your spread and your commission.
Did you trade micros? Or how
Yes,
many?
micros. It doesn't matter because it's going to be the same kind of math either way.
Yeah, true, true.
NQ spread is kind of moving between 1 and 3 ticks,
God, I
which
miss
is
having
not a very big percentage of that larger tick size.
just this one. And that's a good point because ES is smoother to trade. It's more per point, but there's that nice wick of rejection that we wanted to see. So big wick of rejection. I wouldn't have minded if we went a little bit further, but we've got that confirmation that maybe we've got a safe place to sell. So if we get below that candle, what price is that? 412? I'd be willing to sell. If we break below this little retest, I'd be willing to sell. I'm just going to be taking it to the VWAP though. But that's a good point that I hope people realize is ES is cheaper. I like ES a lot. It's a little bit smoother. It's a lot less crazy, but you have to pay attention to the commissions and the fees, especially if you're trading micros because the micros are more expensive in fees.
Nehemiah is asking the question of how do you know?
Oops.
Part of it is that I'm using my own tools on MT5. I look at the lot size and I kind of look at it. If I get an extreme lot size, then I know that it's not giving me what I want. There's our
Your
break.
where is it? That's the break. Um, so pulling this up real quick, your trade of eight will have that on here too. You can faintly see it. There's a red and a green line. There is still a spread on this. So there are still other fees to kind of consider. And then of course there's commissions and other things. So this right now is small at 6 p.m. when session crossover happens. It's very large. I don't know what that is in tick value, but it's reasonably large, even on futures.
Well, NQ right now is sitting at about 3 ticks and goes down to now it's at 2. So it's kind of moving back and forth.
Let's see what we get. We're breaking down a little bit late on those entries. I think my stuff is a little laggy. I just wanted to come down into here. I'm not going to let it come all the way back into here because this is a full mini. This is not a 50K account though. It's a 150K account. And just let it ride. Hopefully we don't come and break this level. That was hopefully that nice push move of rejection, but now we'll see. We'll see what we get. There are no guarantees, sadly. Sadly. But hold on. Joshua, that's I think a great topic that I think we should talk about in terms of the micromanaging of trades. ES is looking good. I couldn't get on board with buying this. My bias was in the way, and that was a perfect trade. I just couldn't, mostly because all day yesterday, all we did was buy. And I was like, okay, it's time to get a retracement, time to get a retracement, time. Nope, no retracement. There's just no retracement coming. So missed out on that one. It is what it is, though. Not every trade is perfect.
What's that, Jenny?
I want to talk about what you're doing in terms of your middle management to lock out profits and stuff.
Yeah, let's give a real scenario. Like, all right, let me see. I'm in this NQ trade, but right now I am $52,316. So I'm 300 and something dollars over the buffer right now, the $2,000 buffer.
On take profit
One
trade.
take profit trader, $50,000 account. If you manage that, like I said earlier, that first trade I seem to be with the breakout. I mean, that first trade, I mean, it goes up there, you know, or it goes down there. But I guess what I'm saying is I just want to know how to properly manage it, you know. And then my next question would be after that, like, what is um, the lowest, what am I trying to say? Payout you would take.
I think we talked about the payout because, well,
Yeah, we
last
did.
I talked to you about it before was, and remember, different account sizes are different, but
Yeah.
for me,
Mhm.
depending on where you're at, I would take a payout as soon as you're able to. So figure you've got, your $500 above buffer,
Yep.
$1,000 above buffer, take out $500 of that. Take some out, pay for the evals that you've got. This way now you're you're risk free. You're off risk. And I know it's not going to feel like that because you still have the whole account and you can technically succeed or fail or blow the funded account. But I think let's just be practical. Let's say you bought three evals at approximately $100, no retest fees on Take Profit Trader, right? You're
Yeah.
in $300. Provided you withdrew $300, you've just paid for the last 6 weeks or whatever month, however fast you're doing this. And now no matter what happens, you've lost some time and that's stressful and that sucks. You're a little bit discouraged on hopes and dreams and that's frustrating. But you can't be financially frustrated and call it a burden thing because you're break even fiscally speaking. So for me, I would say as soon as you're able to take out some, and then cover costs. And then from there, remember, take profit trader, you can't make more than 10K in a day, and you can't make more than 20K on an account because then they're moving you to live. And yes, you're going to get a slightly higher profit split. But by then, remember, if it's your 20 grand, you may as well put your own 20 grand in your own broker and trade it that way. If we're being honest. So
Yeah.
being live on one of these props is not always as advantageous as it looks. I mean, sure, there's, bragging rights or locker room talk, but I mean, that doesn't matter anymore. So it's your money. For me, take out what you can and then set a schedule that says, hey, I did really well this week. I'm going to take out, 70, 80% of my growth or 40% or 50% or 30%, depending on what your goals are and how fast you're growing it. If you're going $300 a day, that's a way different withdrawal schedule than the person who's, doing $1,500 a day and $2,000 a day.
Well, it ain't that because the way these markets going, I'm gonna be honest. I lowered my risk back to what you told me when we talked last week. Like I lowered it back to $100 a trade, literally tonight, because the way the markets have been doing, it's been psychologically like beating me up, like you know, losing, literally
Excuse me,
losing
Josh.
win. You know,
How do you do $100 a trade trading the NQ
It's the
and
MN.
make that kind of money?
the
Well,
image,
even if with the MNQ, how do you
no
make
minis, no
no
minis,
minis?
nope,
How
only
many micros do you usually trade?
whatever Jenny's system tells me, just to be transparent. If it tells me like right now it says 6 contracts for 32 ticks, that's what I use. Nothing.
So watch, if
Nothing
I go
crazy.
to MNQ just for that's shooting up and I didn't even,
Oh,
okay. So this says 62. If I go in here, just so you guys can see that, because this was the thing I
That's like
struggled
a
with.
lot of contracts. Oh, but that's $1,000 risk.
There you go. So this is 6 contracts. So if you're using this full range as your stop loss, and watch, we can prove that this is, let's go to short here. We're on the 1 minute time frame or 2 minute time frame. There we go. So 2 minute time frame, that was cleaner. It's interesting. So here we go. That's telling you 10 contracts, but watch if I go into these settings, if I can find where that little settings box is. I know it's I was like, I know it's somewhere on the screen. I just have no idea where. And I make this into $100. It should line up pretty well. So this is 6.25 is how much
Right.
it's telling you you're allowed to use.
Okay. So that's what you use, Josh, to say you just have yours set to $100
yep.
In your 6-figure trading indicator?
Yes, ma'am. That's how I do it.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
need to
Yep.
start doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Is this the main strategy you use? Is your breakout strategy?
yep.
So do you do it like Uncle Pete? You just do the 15-minute orb or
Only 2 minute.
Oh,
Only
you
two
only
minute.
do two
Yeah,
minute. Oh, you
correct.
do 2 minute.
Right.
Okay.
Identical to the same thing you see Jenny doing when we get in class. It's the same thing. It's nothing different.
Okay. See, I need to
Correct.
learn that one. I don't know that. I'm not familiar with that strategy based on one candle or two 1 minute candles. Okay.
So
Interesting.
we've been doing Trader A. We've been doing this breakout thing for probably about a year, a little bit more than a year now. So in 6FTC, which as you know, we collaborated with now called Futrix. So now Uncle P is using this system, right? This strategy, my
Right.
strategy, and he's just using it on the 15-minute time frame. So it's people are using this 1,000 ways. What I do is I do the 2 minute. I don't change the time frame on this box. I don't like it that way, mostly because the 15-minute range is I don't want to wait 15 minutes, have missed this whole thing. I'd rather get this much and be done, than have to sit through all of this and then wait. And now we have to sit through all of this again.
Right. That's true. Sometimes you get a really big range after at 15 minutes. Sometimes you get a really big range and you've missed some moves. But for the New York session, that's some really volatile trading
Well,
too. So how do you all find that?
ready, this morning was messy. Okay, but we've been doing this for a long time. Uncle P
Okay.
just now started the this stuff, and I can't speak. A lot of people have been doing 15-minute orb though for years. So that it's
Right.
became recently, but what is it, Big Dog? So some version of New York Breakout has been around for longer than maybe I've been alive. But this right here is this morning. We took the sell. Well, actually, I didn't take the sell on. I didn't wait. I did take the sell on NQ. I took it on ES. ES. Yeah. I was like, I don't think I did. So I took the sell here. NQ was it was too choppy. Didn't love it. And we were sitting next to those levels too much. Didn't like the wicks and everything. So didn't take that. Took ES, sat through one candle worth of drawdown. Okay. And sometimes it's worse. YM, we took last week, which is still up. It should still be in here. Let me find it. And there was this one day, man, it was a painful trade, as they said. Okay, it was painful just to sit through it, but did it win? Yeah, it did. Sometimes it happens in milliseconds, and sometimes that's Thursday. That should be it. Nope, it's got to be this coming Tuesday. This one. We were trying to target this area of interest that I marked up. We sat through it, sat through it, sat through it, and did it work? Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, did it hit a stop loss? No, we were using 50% of that range. Got in a little bit later. Was it just a mess to kind of be around? Absolutely. But beautiful trade, right? Sometimes you get stuck in the chop, but if you're looking at the bigger picture, and that's why we have pre-market highs and lows and yesterday's highs and lows, but it's not too hard. And I know people just taking it at face value, 2 minute or what is it, 2 minute or 5 minute or whatever, and they're doing just fine.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So you and Joshua, you all do it off 2 minutes. Got it. I thought I'd hear you all. So you said that, but I just didn't really understand exactly how you did it. So thank you for explaining it.
You are welcome. We got one trade was somewhere way over here. We got two. Oh, that's on the other instrument.
And
One
I
trade.
tell you, it was a hard transition coming from the 4 hour to this 2 minute.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure it was.
coming from the 4 hour to this, like coming from the smaller time frames to this, I was thinking about what Joshua. See, I'm getting it better.
Jesus.
Joshua, I know y'all can laugh at me,
Yes,
was
ma'am.
saying I would like to do better at holding the trade, but like for example, I posted them in the public Discord portion. Um, if I take this trade, I think I did maybe take this trade and posted it even. If I take this trade, life is happening. I can't always sit through this whole moment. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff happening. And unlike with my previous trading experience, I could take the trade, be pretty confident, know that I'm targeting my area of interest, wherever that's at, my 2 to 1, or I had some automatic management that I could count on. I could take it and walk away and just not think about it and be right a lot. Like perfect, absolutely not. But average of 70, 80, 90% accuracy. Shoot, I never got close to 70. I stayed in the high 80s and low 90s for years, documentably. That's awesome. But now it's like I'm taking this trade. I sit this is a lot of time. It doesn't feel like it, but it's a lot of time to have had nothing happen. And I give you what, no matter what the deal is, this candle doesn't happen until I walk out my office. This candle, I kid you not, I need to start tricking it like you do like a dog or something because this candle does not happen until I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lock this real quick. I'm gonna go get some water. I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna do squat. I'm gonna check the dog, go outside. Then this candle happens. So it's a whole nother level.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it says the number of ticks, that's what you should, that's the where you would be setting your stop loss at to have the amount of risk that you put in the.
Well, it's figuring for how much do you want to risk? You know, like Joshua wants to risk $100 right now. So it's how many contracts does it take to make 32 ticks here worth $100?
Okay.
So
And
wait,
that answer is not
well,
your answer. It's going to depend on what you enter and what time frame you're sitting on and everything else.
Right. But 30 ticks, that's where you would set your stop loss, right?
No, not 30
Or,
ticks. It says whatever it says for how many contracts. That's your lot size.
oh, how many contracts? Okay. But you
Ticks
still
is
have
the
to,
distance. So on
right,
this
30 ticks
particular
is
instrument, a
the,
tick size is 10 cents.
okay. So 20 ticks for that one is where you would set your stop loss.
Nope, that's
No?
the number of ticks. So one tick is 10 cents on that right-hand scale where Jenny's cursor was.
okay,
And then
time
that
out.
tick
I really
value
want to
is
answer this. I'm
$10 per
sorry,
tick.
guys. I want to answer this because I don't want any confusion because there's so many people like doing things. Not you, Scott, at all, but I want clarity. This number is only giving you the size of this range. And let me go to micro gold just so we can have some contracts on here because we lowered it to $100. Okay. So this number is only giving you how much this range is. So watch, I'm not going to leave this instrument. I'm going to
Mhm.
stay here and I'm going to go to the 5 minutes. So watch what happens. Right now, it's saying I can trade 4 contracts. I've got 25 ticks. Now it's saying and this is a problem with the way you guys are using it. It's probably why people have it turned off. I'm missing the best part of this whole script. But anyways, this now says what? 38
38
ticks
ticks.
and only 2 contracts. I'm going to go up one more time because this needs to be understood. So how you're using it in theory is using 78 ticks, which is only giving you 1 contract on a micro gold. Okay. The reason it's giving you that is because, so for example, if the box you have yours set, because this is very customizable, we're building this to be the only thing that does all of these things. You currently have it set to 15-minute, right? So it's giving you the
Right.
15-minute range with a 1 minute or 2 minute view. Um,
Right.
Robert, I'll get to you in just a second, okay? But because of the
Okay.
way you have it set, you have this huge zone that you're using as your stop loss. So you could, what I would do in your case, if you were trying to keep that methodology, is say, hey, look, I'm going to take 78 and divide it by 2, okay? And use this 50% mark because that whole range is a pretty big stop loss for a 15-minute entry.
Right.
Especially for people.
Okay.
But I want you to know that the only thing this is telling you is how big that candle is at the time you set it on based off of the settings you have. So this is just to further exemplify the point, this is gold micro contract. This tells me 4 if I'm trying to risk $100 because that's about how big it is and about how much it's worth. If I go to MES more accurately, that gives me 13 contracts and because it's a 6 tick. Scott already mentioned that. He said that's a really small zone. I don't want to play there. YM, which we know is exorbitantly cheap. This gives me 28 contracts because it's a
Right.
small zone and
It's a
because
small zone. Right. That zone is 7 ticks wide.
yes.
Okay. Got
And
it.
if you go to MNQ, you'll just notice right now people are just saying, hey, I trade 1 contract, but they're trading 1 contract on NQ, ES, gold, and crude. You're not trading consistent risk, which means if you lose on gold and win on NQ, you're still probably negative on the day. Okay.
Right.
Even if you had the perfect, R to R. That's the problem overall. So understanding this is going to help you be a better trader. It's not easy at first, but knowing how to use this, even if you weren't using it per se on this strategy, using this concept that says, hey, I'm taking, sorry, I'm taking this trade, okay, this breakout trade. This retest JGS flag, whatever, let me fix that. I'm going to use the low of the previous candle. I'm going to go for a 2 to 1, or let's just say 2.5 to 1. It tells me I can take 20 contracts off the risk we typed in. I should be trading X amount of contracts here, but now if I'm trading ES and I take a very comparable trade, okay, again, using the low as the trade, I'm going for approximately 2.5 to 1-ish. Okay, not perfect. There's a different number of contracts. Okay, it's different. We should be trading differently if we're trying to trade consistent risk.
Right. Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna get super passionate about it because not everybody like uses that for what it's there for. But Scott made the best point. And to your point, this right here, the reason why Joshua, okay, yeah, we can make a video about that. Is saying that is because he's using this as the breakout. So if he's going to enter pretty close to here, it's never going to be exact. It's not like his entry is going to be exactly 427. It could be 425. It could be 428 with, favorable slippage in the opposite direction. Yes, that does happen on occasion, but he knows he's going to have a stop loss somewhere on the other side of here. Maybe he sees price action gets out a little earlier, wicks a little bit later, spread slippage, etc. But it's going to be pretty close to the
Yep.
exact amount he wants to lose.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Interesting.
And if I can add to it too,
Yeah.
the trader A, Jenny, now I'm not mentally and psychologically there like Scott Miller. I call him Dr. Eyes. I be praying to God. I be like, please give me that type of wisdom with the market. Oh my God. When he talks, I'm like writing stuff down. But I say that to say,
Don't tell me that. I'll start telling you all sorts of things.
We love
even though, even though I don't have that quite intelligence in the market just yet, it really is a good system, and that breakout is really going to hit. Now, that's the next thing that me and Jenny talked about is I'm trying to get under control. Okay, if I have, now you have to put your goals down. Okay, how much do you want to make on the day per whatever if you're going to use the 2 minute, how much do you want to make? If I got goals set to make $160 to $200 a day and I'm up 160, well, golly, I got to psychologically set like, okay, don't let it come all the way back to break even. Like, cause it's, trader A, it's going to get there.
Right.
But it's like now it's like, okay, how do I manage this?
Well, are you dividing up those contracts? Let's say if you had 6 micro contracts,
Well, see,
are
that's the
you
key.
taking different exits for them?
I want to, so what I did tonight is when it got there, I took half of my risk, right? So I took half of it.
Now, are you the one who's doing it on TradingView? You're not doing it on the TradingView?
No, I'm actually still doing it on TradingView, but I know I have to get, I'm learning from Jenny how to get to the TradingView platform, me and my brother David. So I'm getting ready to invest in another one. I'm only going to do one a month, like one take profit trade a month until I max that prop firm out. Then I'll go to Blue Guardian, and then, the list goes on. But, for now, I'm just using TradingView. It's just convenient for me. I love TradingView versus Jenny can't stand.
How do you do all those contracts? Do you hit the button 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you have
left
it
hand? Look at Jenny's cursor right there.
Right.
See it, top left?
Right. Yeah, I know you can have the number that you want right there.
Yep.
But if you do that, they're all together. They're not spread out.
Oh, you talking about scaling in, like kind of like.
Right. Like when you get ready to close it, they're all together.
Yeah, but
so you go back to that same corner and if you do 6 contracts as it says on the screen, right?
Right.
You go back to that corner and you put in 3. That's half. Okay. And you would, if you're buying it, you would sell 3 of them to close.
So you break it out as you go.
Yeah. Now this is why Jenny doesn't like it, is because sometimes you sell it and you want to, but when you get ready to close the position out fully, it's still on there.
Right.
sometimes. And you
Right. And that's the thing with TradingView, because there's no button, at least that I know of, where you can say cancel all or
Doesn't
close
matter. That
all.
that that
so
button does exist on the DOM, and no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work adequately. So I will say again, I don't know a single successful 6 or 7 figure earner from futures who trades on TradingView.
well, what about what I do is I use on my Google, I'm in TradeAvate and I'm logged into TradeAvate and I just close every time I close a trade, I close all positions through my TradeAvate broker.
Yeah,
Nice.
you can do that. You can trade, you can close them all through your TradeAvate. I leave my TradeAvate open too for my take profit trader account.
Yes.
I do most of my trading on NinjaTrader. I just have my paper trading and my charting and my personal accounts. I have them through TradingView. But I mean, I hardly ever trade my personal accounts because I'm not ready to trade my personal accounts yet.
That's smart. Good job. And if you're on NinjaTrader, yeah, that's a totally different thing. From my experience,
I love NinjaTrader. That's my favorite platform is NinjaTrader.
that's awesome. I like it. I don't love it. I think it's archaic in general. I want to
That's
love it,
true.
but I'm trying. From my experience, again, I'm not the guru with that stuff as I stutter through my words here. If you have NinjaTrader up and are logged into that platform here, you cannot also be logged into TradeAvate on all three of those. So one of them is going to get disconnected. So could you?
Right. I can't do, I'm not logged in for TradingView
Yeah.
for these accounts, these serious accounts. I just have my separate other accounts on TradingView, but I do keep the TradeAvate open because that's how I monitor the drawdown. And that's if I have to close something because of an emergency, if the platform stops working, then I have to do that through the take profit. But yeah, I don't keep the chart open or anything. I just have the accounts open where I can see the drawdown and I can have access to exit all in case there's an emergency with the NinjaTrader platform if it freezes up.
I
And
know, right?
see, I'm a baby with that. So I have to get ahead like you guys with that because I am a
You
baby
better
with
get
that.
that TradeAvate up in case
Okay.
something happens because
Okay.
these platforms can freeze up.
Yeah. Well, it has before, like literally myself, David, like it freezes. Well, it doesn't freeze for him for some reason, but for me, it freezes because I pull my stop loss up. I run with the candles, so it's like, oh no, it didn't stop. So I have to
Right.
close the trading view out and open it back up and
All right,
hope
that's
the
it,
trading
David. We're coming to your house now because if yours honestly never has any problems, listen,
never. This
Hey,
dude never have
that ain't
problems.
true because this morning and last night I found out that it does freeze, especially if you're moving your stop loss following the trade and you get in front of the trade. When you get in front of the trade, it'll go to like a gray color, and then you're like, you can't move anything. You're like, what did I do? So you have to click the little cross sign and mess with it. I don't know how I got it unstuck, but yeah, it's not a perfect thing, but man, I'm kind of scared of this trade debate.
no, TradeAvate's the simplest. It just has weaknesses. I was looking to enter here, but we're still pulling back. And now I'm gonna look at off screen. I've got all my multi-time frame stuff up. I'm trying here. We got one on ES, one on NQ, pulled back up against us, and just kind of lackluster night. But that's part of trading. But I want to honor Robert. You had a quick question.
Not a
Dave?
question, a little bit of excitement, slight bragging. Nowhere am I near where I need to be, but everybody that's been here knows my struggles, my frustration. I just had 3 wins out of 3 trades on Sydney, and I'm 7 wins and 2 losses for the entire day. And to
Oh
me,
wow.
that's freaking awesome.
Good job. Hey, can I just say real quick? Hey, Robert, is
Yep,
that from the just going over perfect settings, sticking with the plan that we
yep,
talked about? All
yep.
right. I
And
just
I was
wanted,
going to tell whoever was talking a minute ago, I don't pay attention to contracts or ticks when I set my stop loss or take profit. It's purely based off of those lines.
well, wait, for right now, yeah, because right
Yeah,
now,
for now.
for right now, your only mission is to take one micro to get good at this.
Yep.
process.
Just
So
following the same process, and I've gotten to the point to where, like this morning or earlier today, where it almost hit take profit and reversed and hit stop loss. The only thing I could do at this point is repeat the process. If it works, if it works. I mean, if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. That's just the market being a pain.
no, you're
You know.
allowed to lose. Like,
Yeah.
so what, just so you guys know, what I'm having him do is just take one micro to get good at the process. Just literally his only job is to go get a 55% accuracy. Okay. 55%. And I know that sounds really low, but once you get to 55, there's a few tweaks to get you to 60, 65. And I promise you what, 60, 65% at a 1.5 or 2 to 1 ratio, you are profitable and withdrawing even from prop firms. Now, if you psychologically and let your emotions beat you up to take this trade, hold this one longer than you should, get out of this one earlier than you should, you're not gonna, there's nowhere to go from there. But he's doing incredible. I am so proud of you and congratulations.
And I just did the math, 77.77777% for
Well,
today.
now we got a couple weeks of that though, so let's keep at
I
that for.
know, but it's
Very
nice to
good.
see it
Congratulations.
do this, And I've actually finally gotten it down to where it's just this. Set my mouse down and watch, or no, I don't even watch. Once I have those two set, I don't really watch as much as intent as I do because it can mess with your heart jumping up and down.
Well, this was the perfect trade of the night. I didn't even take it because of my bias.
I did the holy crap, no wonder that didn't work. I mean, it worked, but what did I do? Oh,
All right,
that's right. That's right. 2 minute, Sydney. That's what we agreed on. That's right. I did it right. Never mind.
good job,
Gold
guys.
Yeah,
was a banger again.
it
Yep.
was M and Q 2 minutes, and the first one came within like seconds. I was and where I don't have it connected straight to Top Step X yet. I do use TradingView. I'm not going to go a lot of details, but at the moment I've got TradingView going to my what's considered my master Tradevate account. And if and when I copy, then I do something through Ninja Trader. It's another thing, and they have a flatten all button. I'm not going to get a lot of details, but that's the way that is. I have another way to actually automatically do the same thing through Top Step X. But at the moment, I'm as soon as I see the trade place on TradingView, I move my mouse over because I got them side by side and do the trade in Top Step. And then I place my stop loss line in TradingView, and then I move my stop loss and TP lines on Top Step. X to match
Nice.
what I have on TradingView.
Okay, well, hey, stick with it. Remember, you're going to have ebbs and flows. We say 60 or 50% because this 77% week is going to get beat down by a week that's 40% or 50%. But
Right.
that's the reality, and we want to be
We're
prepared.
talking overall average, yeah.
Yep, overall. So awesome. I'm proud of you. I
But
am.
all three of those, 3 for 3, the first one came within seconds. I barely had time to even set my take profit line on Top Step X and get to set the stop loss line on it. The second was kind of slower, but the third one came kind of quick. I'm like, dude, I'm done.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you. Okay, Joe, laugh at me. Laugh at me. I've got a party this weekend too with all those soccer kids. You got a cup on gold? Let's talk about that. Here, right where you count. I haven't even thought
Yeah,
about it.
I
Yeah,
come
it's
from
better on the
Jenny.
5 minute.
You remember Gold Cup
Yeah,
with IML?
I was thinking about. I was like, I haven't even heard the word teacup, and I don't even know how long. Is this a teacup? Don't laugh at me because I honestly don't
That's
know.
it. That's it. And then you'll have a handle. It look like it's forming the handle right now. So it'll
No, see where that big wick is at the top right there, Jenny? Yeah, no, go all the way up. No, follow the cut from that wick. Follow it around.
Oh, okay, like this.
Yeah, that now
Press it.
the two red candles is forming the handle right there. There
Oh,
you go.
gotcha.
There you go.
I was
Whoever
like, is
did that,
this the
that must
handle
have
or
been
is this the
Scott.
handle?
that's it. That's Scott. That's the genius.
Like
Here,
you know those European cups that have like the handles on both sides? Like you never know. I mean, it may be this. I don't know.
That thing is fixing to go to the moon tonight.
You
Man,
could
that
still
shiny
do
head
this.
dude used to kill it.
it looks like a cup made in ancient Mesopotamia by hand. It's kind of rough looking, but it's a cup.
I know. Well, I see, I don't even know, guys. Those people started coming out with so many things. They got the Batman signal. They got dragonfly, not dragonfly, but like dragons, and some of them are really cool people. Don't get me wrong, but like once they started naming things after superheroes, and there was no Wonder Woman on the side, it was just like seriously, I don't see the Batman, okay? And it wasn't even like a harmonic pattern they were talking about, but it was just naming stuff. What do they call it? The crown, you know?
Yeah,
They
the
started,
What
crown.
what
yeah.
would a Wonder Woman be? Just the shape of a W, I guess.
Well, come on,
Well,
if
the
you're
crown is like a triple top or a quadruple top, just a whole bunch of spiking,
yeah.
or it could be a bottom. But it's just different names for things that you see all the time.
Okay, I would love
Here,
to look for one more, but at this point, I'll take some questions.
I'd like to point out one more thing.
On what one pair or no?
I know you can be right there. That's fine. It
I go
doesn't
down,
really matter which one.
I'm gonna go down a time frame because I'm kind of married to NQ tonight. I'm looking for a drop, but
This is fine. What I just want to point out is that on this indicator, your lot size is calculated between the green line and the red line. So it's trying to make that worth whatever you put into your settings for the value. So that means that in order to have that, your stop loss needs to be on the other side of, if you take that first sell down on that big purple candle, your stop loss
Mhm.
needs to be up here.
Right.
And the further away you put it, the less accurate your stop loss calculation is going to be. And the other thing to realize is that especially if you have a low number of contracts, zero is obviously too low to trade, but you get to one contract, it's probably going to be erring on the side of smaller risk than the actual risk. As your contract size gets bigger, it can be more accurate in the rounding.
Okay.
So just keep those things in mind. And that means also that because the distance here is the same as the distance to here.
Right. The
So
take
that means
profit
that if
is
you're
like
risking $100, you're making $100.
okay.
And if you hold on for longer, you know, you could take a look at this setup and say, well, trying to take out these lows is probably realistic. Coming down and testing those lows. So you could set a target that is different. But the other thing you can do sometimes is if you take a look at where is your purple line and you say, is there some reason that I might think that it's going to stop there? In this case, we've got this, what is that, previous day's low or
so
high?
what we talk about or what we teach is saying, okay, so if you're taking this as a breakout, some people are taking 50% of that range. So that's in between here and here. Okay. Some people are taking the full range. Cool. That's 1 to 1 if you're using the full range, or 1 to 1 if you're using half of the range and half the range, right? But this doesn't have to be necessarily your exit. This is the target, but you can target next highs, you can target areas of interest, you can target trends, you can target quarter points, pivot points, Fibonacci percentages, previous, what is it? Pre-market high, pre-market low, yesterday high, yesterday low. Those are a big thing that we're looking at when we're trading, especially for New York Open. For this, I'm looking at the open or the close of yesterday, right? Those are all different targets, but we can't have all that on the screen. So some of that stuff you have to kind of know or have marked up.
Yeah, but what I was just wanting to point out is that, if you are seeing your one-to-one target as being, if you've got some major support or resistance between your entry and the target, you might want to, get out most of it at a lower point or as you hit that bounce point.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes if I see an EMA or a moving average or the VWAP or something like that, and it's in between the target, the 1 to 1 target, then I may just get out at that first target. Let that be the first target.
Yeah, although you can see momentum on your side, if you're taking a trade that's going in the direction of the trend, you can say, I think it's going to overcome this resistance and hang in there for it and just make sure you're not trailing your stop up too fast.
Right. Well, that's true, especially during the opening. Then, there could be a lot of volatility. Maybe it can get through some of that resistance or support.
I
So
would
those are
I would
excellent
disagree with
points.
that. Like honestly, for the open, it's when you need to protect the most because just using today as an example, not cherry picking, just going back to today,
That was
Okay.
wacky.
if you didn't if you didn't protect this profit, you got knocked out. And if you're trading a mini, this is a $300, ish range. Okay, it's
So,
270.
Jenny, when you take your 2 minute opening range, do remember you saying you like to get in at the break, not at the close, right?
I don't want to wait for a close, no, because we can't always go and cherry pick examples, but I want to get in at the break. Now, granted, I give it like a tick or two.
Did you get knocked out today on it?
No, we took a clean ES and a clean gold. We got knocked out on nothing today.
Okay.
Now, gold I didn't capitalize on a lot because I locked it too quick, and that was the banger on the day. But ES we knocked around for a good minute. And I mean, it wasn't even a solid 10, 15 minutes. It feels like 15 minutes. But to kind of
But
give
it
you
came on both sides of the range, it looks like it.
I'm sorry.
That's yes, it went on both sides of the range. Okay, it went up first, so you took it up. Okay, yeah, that's great.
No, I didn't take it up. I took it down.
You took it
But
down.
using this as an example, if I waited for the close, this would not have been a major winner. So this
Right.
is the close. Not just that, this whole concept, the whole way it's meant to be working. If I change this to Heikin-Ashi candles, okay, the whole way that this is built, where are Heikin-Ashi candles? I know, oh, there we go. If I change this to Heikin-Ashi candles, it changed
Mhm.
the whole perspective here. Because remember, price isn't actually where price looks like on the Heikin-Ashi candles. But if I enter here, now if this said 10 contracts, this is more like, I don't know, 4 contracts or 5 contracts at the very most. Because now I'm not entering here. So this information is based off of entering pretty close to this area. Okay.
Okay.
Never like exact, but you need to be entering very close to this. If I waited till all the way up here, we target.
Very good point.
Uh-oh.
Very good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. If you're not entering at the break, then that throws off that calculation.
Yeah. So it's something that you have to kind of be aware of is if I enter in here, I never close back below really that 50% or really start to give any signs of rejection. This comes up pretty close to that. Either way, we would have been targeting that high, which is kind of where we came in to be. Cool, we got it, and we're done. Even when we come to over here, let me just turn this up. Put that at like, I don't know, 35. There we go. Even when we come back to over here, this right here is kind of popping up, but we're not really closing above this zone. So even this right here, which is janky, it's messy, it's unclear, hard to trade in the moment, but we're not really getting any closes outside of this range. Hence the reason that when we're in our New York class, we talk about that an awful lot, which is if I'm entering, I have a mental stop at that 50% mark, right? It means I'm really
Right.
watching price depending on what it's doing around that 50% mark. I have my hard stop a little bit away from this zone, knowing I might risk a little bit more, but also knowing I want to give this trade, especially when you're trading momentum periods like New York Open, market's going to whip around a little. So this one, we would have been targeting this high or this zone. Cool. This, if I had just taken it at the break, having no clue, because remember, in real time, this looks like a really voluminous bearish candle. Okay. Uh-oh. Our thing is getting hacked.
What's wrong?
That's twice you said uh-oh in the past couple
What's
minutes.
going on?
My YouTube is getting hacked. I don't
As
know.
we speak?
I don't know. There's just somebody in there. There was like 100 messages, and then I got rid of some of them that like I don't know. It's message from TradingView. Like the name has changed like 500 times in front of my eyes. It's wild. Interesting. Man, the world be crazy. But anyways, back to what we are saying. In real time, this looks like a voluminous bearish candle. This looks like a momentum breaking, woohoo, I'm ready, we're taking it, we're gonna make money kind of candle. Of course, at
Right.
the last second, it comes and wicks up. And then this one looks like we're continuing and starts to pull up a little bit. Here we start to kind of close above. Do I love it? Depending on what we're seeing beforehand. Again, pretending like we don't know what happens after. We know we just took a high, okay? We know we just made equal highs, so now we have a double top, and now I'm considering selling it. So just pretending like this is what I'm seeing on the chart, because this is what I would be looking at on the chart. Now I know, cool, I scalped up based off of momentum on opening bell. Let's say I did take this as a break. Not the perfect, I'm not giving you guys a cherry-picked perfection here. But here we go. We wake up. We're still not getting any closes. I still see my double top. I still think we're going to come at least down into this neckline or maybe down into this area of interest.
What
Well,
do equal highs tell traders? Because I keep hearing references to there's an equal high, there's an equal high, and I just don't know what does it even mean, or what do people think when they see an equal high?
so people talk about it 100 different ways, but an M or a W, right? Those are rounded, okay? But if you had a pointed one, and this is not going to be equal because I am not an artist, okay? But this would be considered an equal high or an equal low. So I'm going to tell you to do your due diligence and kind of Google that, go over it. Really, it's a
Right.
place. At the end of the day, every one of these levels and every one of these topics, I feel like traders are looking for the same thing. So whether it's quarter points, pivot points, Fibonacci, trend line breaks, all your trend line gurus, your orb gurus, every guru on the planet, okay? SMT, ICT, they're all looking for what? They're looking for a reaction, okay?
Right. Reaction, right.
Reaction at what?
And levels at a level.
A level, right? That
Right.
level could be a W. It could be, I'm
Yeah.
going to do this badly, a head and shoulders. That's a really bad W, guys.
Yeah. No, I do the double tops and the double U's all the time, but when it's an equal high, like the exact equal high, it seems like that gets everybody's attention. Oh, look, we're falling again.
Yeah, we're coming up on that VWAP. But at the end of the day, no matter what people are talking about, whether it's an area of interest, a supply and demand, okay, all we're doing is we're pointing out these things on the chart and saying we're looking for a reaction at those levels.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're at the 70%. Hey, we're at supply and demand. Hey, we have an equal high. Hey, we have a weak low. Okay, hey, we have this. They're all looking for the same thing, which is we're looking for a reaction at those places.
Right.
The W's and the head and shoulders are signs of potential reversals, right? They're signs of rejection, just like dojis are signs of rejection. Three candle formations are signs of rejection. But most of that stuff can be used in confluence with continuation or rejection.
Right. You're right. You're right. It's a reaction, but which way is it going to be? You're absolutely right. Boy, did I have a rejection today on the NQ, and I was so hoping that it was going to go through the resistance, and it did. It did not.
It did not, huh? It just bounced off. Beautiful trade.
It did. Yeah, it did
No
today on
problem.
the NQ during the midday, which I should not have been trading anyway. I should have been finished, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that whole over trading thing is something we're all working toward and aspiring to.
Yes, absolutely.
We're bouncing off that VWAP now. I really want to see longer continuation, but just not a lot of follow through. I mean, if we could get the follow through on NQ like we did on gold, we'd be just fine, but no. And I'm out, and it already wicked back up. So I'm okay with that. What
Oh,
is
I
that?
gotta run, kids,
Yeah,
on Thursday.
sweet dreams. I'll see you on Thursday, Scott.
Okay, bye-bye.
I
I'm
know something that's super frustrating I've seen happen a couple times in my case. I'd have my take profit line set and it wicks up and goes within like 2 ticks. And I know that I should have closed it, but you never know. And it goes within 2 ticks of that take profit line and then reverses, hit stop loss. I'm like, man, come on.
So this is where I'm at on the day. So since New York opened, so that's 7,000-ish dollars on a, about a third of my accounts.
That's amazing. I can't wait to get into that trader copier. That just looks beautiful.
But wait, I need to say the only reason it's so high is because of a misfire with Ninja. It was opening everything in minis, whereas it should have been opening all the smaller accounts in micros. So there's still a lot of things going wrong with this. The only reason why this is all in the hundreds and not like $100 or $40 or $60 or whatever is because every one of these accounts took the full size mini And I even rebooted it before we started on this call because they said, hey, just reboot it. Hey, just restart it. Hey, here's your solution. And nope, it did not work. So baby steps,
Is,
but I'm just sharing with you. I'm running into 100 problems, don't get me wrong, but I'm willing to go through those problems to get it right ideally. And that is what we're working toward, slowly but
wa-
surely.
was that affordable indicators? That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it's affordable
Okay.
indicator. So I've found that when I enter on Trade of Eight, it's mostly fine in terms of the opposite direction. That's awesome. But when there's any bit of volume happening, it will often take the it'll often take the like the big size versus the small size. And then to answer your question, there's 100% of advantages. So the silly people who do that with their Forex accounts and their personal accounts, I think are silly. I think it's creating a lot of work for no reason. But the reason why I want to have 30, 40 funded accounts, like I have some big aspirations. I don't know if I'm ever going to achieve them. I'm going to work on it, but is because remember, every one of these firms has a limitation. So some of them have limitations on how much you can make in a day, consistency rules, et cetera, et cetera. But they also have limitations on how much you can withdraw at a time. And with Apex, even if you bought the $300,000 account and you're doing well, you can still only withdraw $3,000 at a time, right? So $3,000. And mind you, 8 days doesn't seem like much, but 8 days factoring in mistakes equals likely, I'm just being human, one payout a month. If you have really gotten good at all the misfires and all the things, maybe two payouts a month is the way that will play out. But almost never, will it be? It definitely won't be more than that. But because those are biz trading days, right? There's other
Right.
play. So if I'm going to be able to withdraw 2,000 from the 50K accounts, that's a lot more per capita, right? Per amount of dollars that I'm trading. And the lot sizes and contract sizes I have access to aren't that different. The drawdown, the reason to buy the 50K accounts, there are a few. I will say the biggest reason not to is you have to pay the same activation fee anyways if you're doing it on Apex. So this activation fee is going to be just as high no matter it's $300,000 account or 50K account. That sucks. But other than that, one of the reasons to buy the 50K account is because you have the drawdown to target ratio is much smaller. What is it, $2,500 drawdown to $3,000 target? Whereas somebody quote me if I'm wrong, but it's 7,500. Hold on. It's seven
It's like the ratio is better on the 50K.
it's
So
7,500 drawdown on the 300K and 20,000 for a target. So the amount you have to get right, okay, is substantially higher than on the 50K account. So it's just really easy to pass them. It's really easy to pass them. It's really easy to get to reach the buffer to get a payout. The the hard parts are the little consistency rules and stuff, which right now I'm not even like super concerned with because I need everything to work right before I can really focus on that with Apex particularly. But it's a learning process that I think it's worth going through because some of those people got $1 million payout, $2 million payouts. So if I mess this up and fail flat on my face, okay, and I probably am, and I probably will. I think Ninja Trader and all the things I've experienced have showed me yes to that. But if I fail at what some of these other people have accomplished by 90%, I'm still going to walk away with more than what I spent and likely somewhere upward of $250,000 after expenses. So in that time frame, I'm hoping to build a bigger audience maybe on YouTube, really be bigger in terms of these prop firms. So they're giving me free accounts that I can give away. So yes, if you're buying a challenge, please use code 6FTC because I'm trying here. I'm working on it. And right now, all the accounts we give away come out of my pocket. But ideally, I think it'll be worth it. I think I can potentially be one of those people who can make the $1 million payout because I'm a very good trader. But this stuff is hard. All the technology, all the oopses in between, the connections, the VPSs, the Ninja Trader, the copiers, the misfires, the ghost orders, those things, those are hard. The consistency rules are hard. Taking the trade is easy. Like being right enough to make money, I can do that 100 times in this period. And I'll be wrong sometimes, fair and square, but I will be profitable like in this period, even with the chop. I know how to do that. I know how to call this winning trade and like it's harder to do it though with these platforms because it's not like I can take it and let my ATM manage it and perfectly and kind of scale me out all the way that I want it to. it doesn't, none of that works as seamlessly on futures as it did in Forex. So that part's harder, but I think I can do it. It's just going to take me some
I
time
have no doubt that you're going to do it.
and
I've only bought like 30 accounts using that code so far. So
okay, listen, pray for me, guys, because I'm gonna need it, man. I need NinjaTrader to do what it says it's gonna do. It shouldn't have been in minis tonight, but it is what it is.
You're gonna have to get that Replicanto.
I
Well,
have I already
you
have
have
it.
the Replicanto? You already had the Replicanto. Okay.
Replicanto's not bad. It doesn't have that daily goal feature, which I
Okay.
really want it to work. Replicanto actually, I think I'm gonna give this a little bit longer because I love some of the features that this one has. But if I'm being honest, as of today, so this is not permanent feedback, I'm still digesting here, guys. But I do believe Replicanto works better than affordable indicators. And from what I've read, and I've checked all the forums and done all the deep dive digging in the deep dark web, I think a lot of other people would agree with that too. Is some of the things that are happening with this one, they're too closely related to some of the stuff that happened with the Apex copier.
Mhm.
Um, so it's okay, like if Replicanto freezes up and NinjaTrader freezes up, we can handle that. Like we can log into Tradeovate and we can fix it. It'll suck, but we can fix that. That's not like a catastrophic, why is it like doing stuff on its own kind of thing. I didn't have, I don't think I ever had orders reverse when I used the Replicanto copier, meaning I closed here and it opened them back up the opposite direction. I could be wrong, but I'm reasonably sure I never had that happen on Replicanto. I have had that happen numerous times on affordable indicators. I've also had the switching from minis to micros inaccurately happen. And then I've also had it happen to where it literally swapped the direction only on some accounts. On some accounts, it took the right size. On other accounts, it didn't. On some accounts, it took the right direction. On other accounts, it didn't. And admittedly, let me be honest, I hate people who come on the internet and whine and complain and like didn't do their due diligence. I am 100% conscious enough and aware that it could be a Jenny issue. It could be my fault, my settings, something I'm doing wrong. But to the best of my ability, from every video under the sun, every forum, I think I've done what I can do, but we're still working on it. So
I forgot, are you using execution mode or do you have to use the other one?
execution mode. That's
I
what the guy.
haven't seen, now I don't do the mini micro thing, so I don't, I haven't seen that because I don't do that, but I haven't seen any like opposite orders or like, place in a reverse order or any of that stuff yet. It's
I
weird.
don't know. I have no idea, guys. It's a work in progress. But I've literally shown in class and I've sent pictures too in that public forum. So this is the trade I took. Why did it? And it does it sporadically. It's not even consistent where I can say, hey, it only did it on the SIM accounts or eval accounts or funded accounts. It does it very sporadically in a way that I can't diagnose. Like at least if it messed up consistently in the same way, we could get to the bottom of it. But the mess ups are so inconsistent and multi-directional that it's hard to start to,
Yeah.
paycheck level work backwards to diagnose and fix whatever it's happening.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
lot
hard
of,
to troubleshoot something that's not doing the same thing all the time.
yeah, it's very hard to troubleshoot that problem. So, but we're working
Jenny,
on it. Yes, sir.
okay, so this in this breakout system that we have now,
Hmm.
the new one that you said you're making, is it automated?
Yep.
And when does it release?
Um, my newest developer, who I'm very excited about, I mentioned him this morning. He should be here. Well, he's working on some things now. I want him to get familiar before we go hammering in. So give him a couple of days. In theory, very soon, but I don't want to put a time frame on it just because some of this stuff is like a 2 hour fix if you speak this coding language, right? But some of the stuff is ran into a bug, misfires, and whatever else. So it's a little bit longer. And it's not one thing, it's quite a few things. So if there's any other bugs you want to report in terms of this particular thing, say so now. Anything else, hold till later or put in the support chat. But if there's any feature requests that you really want to see that I don't already have in there, send me a DM or speak so now because I really want this to be the best, most ultimate breakout system ever. For example, you can literally put this on 7 p.m. The one girl earlier, she's putting it on Sydney Open, which is strange, a lot of high spread, but man, do it because if you did that today, literally, it opened and you just made profit. And I bet you most days for Sydney Open, okay? And then knowing how much to risk, that's awesome. Because that's how, knowing how much to risk, you won. If I just go day to day, you will win most days. You won that day.
I've been having a great success at guess it would be 7 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. your time.
My favorite time right now, David. Wait, 7 a.m. Eastern.
Yes, I'm in Central, so I set it for 6 a.m. After I have my time with God from 5 to 6, then I come in here and the breakout has been this morning. I made so much money. It's
So you set
ridiculous.
it for 6 a.m.?
6 a.m. Central,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it
Okay. I
moved.
noticed that because that's what time I get up. But now that my kids are out of school, I'm dying to trade at 6 a.m. because every time I see up, it's a pop, but I can never get it. So, but you just put your 2 minute candle on the 6 a.m. Is that what you do?
I put my yes on the London. I put it on London session, and I put 6 a.m. in there. And when it comes on, I wait for the 2 minute candle to finish. That way, I know what my contract size is. Uh, I and I man, this morning gold moved so smooth. It was I made so much
David,
money.
we were talking, first off, congratulations, but we were talking,
Congratulations.
um, what, I gotta forget who I was talking to, but I like the 8 a.m. 8 a.m. my time, so it's 7 a.m. your time. 7 a.m. is even better, but like Trader A over here, I have a munchkin that I'm usually getting to and from at that point, so can't be present for that time. But 8 a.m. is smooth. You just gotta watch out for 8:30 news.
Right. The news.
Like it's smooth. It's very easy.
Hey, Jenny, going back to your issue, when you have those issues with the forward indicators, are those originating through TradingView?
I'm sorry, can you?
Are you placing the trades through TradingView when you're having those issues?
I do not know. I gave up on that after too much. Yeah, no.
Because I know they've mentioned something about TradingView had recently done updates that caused some kind of whatever miscommunication or something. I remember reading something about that.
Yeah, TradingView has been wild. A lot of people just I won't because first off, there's a lag. Second off, the ghost orders. I'm just trying to solve. I can never solve all the problems. We can never control, hey, we took the best trade, and then of course we had to stand up right before this bigger candle happens. There's plenty of stuff in this market that's 100% out of our control. I'm just trying to fix the things that I can fix, that I can find solution for, and then learn how to mitigate the parts that I can't. Because I can't solve every problem with all of these tools, but I can make sure that I don't have like the trading view issues. Like I can make sure that doesn't happen. I can't solve all of them, but that's kind of how I'm trading every part of this. Like JGS, this is smooth. This is the 2 minute time frame NQ. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Choppy, fine. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Just over and over again. Woohoo. Probably lost. If you took it and you were aggressive, I probably would have. Cool, one, and like it's simple, it's clean. But there's other factors. We had to get the kid to school, we had soccer, we were volunteering, we cooked. It is good to cook too. We were sleeping, like all the things. So
Right. Jenny, how many monitors do you have to watch all of these different charts? Because I think I'm gonna need to like maybe turn my monitors around and
okay, so
turn them
here's
vertically so I can have more charts, more separate charts.
if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I was the girl who swore up and down you can make tons of money with one monitor or a laptop. You didn't need any of it. And I agree with that to a theory. Now, Um, fast forward a few years, I have 3 monitors. I probably want 4. And I also bought the True Dark glasses. You probably should buy them because I don't think any of this blue light is good for your eyes. It's definitely not good for your mitochondria. Better yet with how many years we're staring at it, how many years worth of
Right.
minutes we're staring at it. So that's it. But okay, guys, looks like gold broke that cup. Oh my gosh, Sandra, I can't with you right now. Gold, I took this again though. So that's where I'm sitting currently, my NQ trade. I'm really just scalping, so I'm not calling them out or anything, mostly because there wasn't a lot in terms of the breakout, and I missed the big gold one. So I'm in this beautifully. I'm up 230 bucks, 240 bucks on a lot of accounts. So the floating profit right now is not that much, actually. It's 3,600. Okay.
That
So
sounds great.
floating profit is 3,600. So that's not a bad way to be. It's kind of cool to watch it kind of float that way. But let's go take a look at gold. My bias got in the, oh, Sandra, listen to you. I thought it broke to the upside. I was like, I don't even want to see about this going up anymore. I'm done with gold going up, but here we go. Here we go. We need a nice retest. There's not a lot of space in here to come retest, but man, come take out, that's yesterday's close. There's a lot of liquidity down here. Come grab some of this liquidity and then come fill that gap. That, in my perfect world, if I get to be the oracle, okay, if it gets to be me, we're gonna come into here, chop around, fill some of this area, and if it confirms, this is where I put the question mark on the screen, I want to come buy it back up and fill this gap. And then the same thing with like NQ in them, the opposite direction though. So I would like to see us, if we have to take the high, take the high. So come and fill this area if necessary, or take the high. If we keep pushing up, that's my target is, what is it? It's right here. So it's 659. Okay. Otherwise, I'd like to see us come down into here, break the low, retest back up, and then come all the way down. I can't even zoom in that far. That's how far away this is. Currently up floating 7,000. Come fill this. What is it? That gap is way down here, man. It's like in here. It's wildly far away. Let's see if I can't show that on screen. I'm gonna do some different things with streaming that hopefully helps with like the views of all this stuff. But to be transparent, I don't know all that stuff, so I'm getting better. Let's see if that'll work. Nope. 1 second. Okay, it's highlighted. It won't work. Bear with me, I'm trying to do something off screen. Just talking to myself.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the affordable indicators to move around things, but it won't let me for some reason. I thought that was how you did it, but maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong because it's not working. Huh. Nope. Anyways, hold on. Let me show you this and then we'll hop off. I'm still holding those trades. That's where they're sitting right now. So it's locked. Very soon my trailing stop is going to come in and really take over, which is fine. That's kind of how I like to try my best to keep it. Because then those orders also disappear. There's more than one reason why I like to see that those settings on there. It's because it automatically dissipates those orders too. I don't have to worry about like deleting them.
Look at all that green.
That's nice.
I know.
But listen, when it's bloody,
That's
it's bloody.
amazing.
When it's bleeding, it's really bleeding. So this is 17,000, but when it's red, it's also 17,000 or like 10,000. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
don't show it to us when it's red. Just show it to us when it's green.
no, I'm being 100% realistic. Like that one day we were on the live Zoom and it took the opposite direction. I ended up closing that day with like a negative 12,000 on the day. Like I don't know what happened there. It was stuff outside of my control. That's fine, but it was a pain in the butt for sure. So we'll see. 18,000 and running. 18,000 and running. It's really cool to watch. Like it is kind of fun to see, wait, this is possible. I'm going to shut it down for the night. I likely have hit more than I needed on the day, so I'm likely not going to be trading a lot tomorrow. Um, this is where we're sitting right now.
It's also when it works right too.
That's the biggest problem is when it works right. So that's the other trade I took. As we keep coming down, my take profit, my should start kicking in. But I'm going to drag this one down a little bit if I can. I'm going to drag this one a little bit further away. Let's see what we get here. So those are this winner and then this winner. Not perfect. They won't all be perfect. They'll be losers too. Let's see how long it's going to take for this to catch up. I think I want to be out of one of these contracts. So now I'm just going to grab this.
Were all those all those Apex or different?
There's 3 brokers attached to this right now.
Okay.
There's only what 4 funded accounts. The rest of them are evals. Mostly because I can't trust NinjaTrader enough to handle the funded accounts. Like it just there's too many mistakes that happen.
Y'all, this session is unbelievable.
I'm so glad. That makes me so happy.
Well, and 2, if I keep trading based on a system instead of me just jumping in and out all over the place, then even these times, you know, the Asian session are times when I might be able to trade, you know, just based on that 2 minutes or 15 minutes, and boom, that's it. So I think it's just going to be really helpful, because even in the mornings when I stick to it now and say, okay, I'm not going to do anything before the first 15 minutes. I'm waiting on that before I do anything. It's been kind of helping me. On the days I don't do that, then, you know, I'm already haywire before anything happens. So, but I think just using the system as a guide is going to help me overall.
And you just described what I was doing before, jumping in and out all over the place, literally.
Yes.
Got your drop on gold, Jenny.
Yeah, I wasn't in it. I can't with gold today. I can't. I called that beautiful buy. I got such a small amount of it. I was like, okay, it's fine. I was up on the day. I didn't care. And then later in the afternoon, I was like, cool, I want to sell it. It did not want to sell back. It was not communicating well with me. There was a bit of a disagreement. And then this evening, I was like, cool, I'm looking for the sell. So I missed the buy on the 8 p.m. breakout. So yeah, gold to me, not today. Not today, Linda. Otherwise, I've been liking gold. I have honestly been liking gold. It's been pretty smooth. Um, Pretty smooth overall. So not a bad way to be. The last contract is in. As you see, I deleted that trail so it didn't knock me out too close. Hoping to get a little bit more on this. And remember, the reason why I would like this to work better than it is with affordable indicators is because I want it to, whatever account doesn't have as much of a limit on that day, I want it to, close that account down. It made $500. Close that account down. It made $800. I close that account down. It made whatever, and let the other ones just run, which would be awesome. But it's a work in progress. So work in progress. And then that's that. So that's it. All right, guys. Not on sale now. Hold on. Oh, monitors. Got them on sale for $782.
Yeah, that's that 49-inch I told you about.
Is it rounded?
Yeah, it's curved.
Look at that. What a brat.
And you can split it up into 3 different sections. Or I do anyway.
I think what I really want to do, and this sounds bougie, and the problem is it's like 20 grand. It's probably about 20 grand. I want to get a different desk, but I can't get rid of my glass piece because it says love in every language. And I'm addicted to it and I love it and it makes me so happy. So I think I need to hang this on the wall and like paint behind it and frame it that way, and then get a different desk that is a standing desk. And I want 4 screens mounted to the back of it. Okay. So I have the whole setup in my mind. And then I want the studio, the newest studio, which is like 8 grand. And then 4 screens. So figure that all together is about a $20,000 project.
You're gonna have them stacked like 2 and 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna stack them 2 on 2. But that's harder if I'm going to keep the Apple. The only way that works is if I keep the Apple and do the studio. Because right now, if I keep the iMac tower, the computer part is in the screen part. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So I
okay.
can't do the setup I want to do now with the Mac that I have now.
You'd
So I'm
have
gonna,
to upgrade to a different Mac.
I have to upgrade. I just wanted them to fix some different things. So it's 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 not just that, it's also losing and restarting and re-downloading and all the process. They'll back up 90% of everything. So I'm pretty blessed. That's why I stick with Apple.
I like my 32-inch and my two 24-inch curves.
You like the curves?
Yes,
Oh yeah. He knows what I'm talking about.
I do. I just added
You got a
two.
lot of viewing space, but it curves in so you
Yeah,
can actually see it all without moving your head
like
around back
you're
and
in a
forth.
half a circle.
Half a circle. Okay, you're gonna. Oh, you did send a picture. I saw it.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't think the 24s were gonna fit, but they fit perfect.
That's how my desk looks right now. A little bit more girly with pink and purple and stuff, but honestly, the two they're all on my screens are kind of surrounding me at this point. I feel enclosed. But okay, wait, there's a question in the chat that says, so if you don't have the system, can you do an example of how you can scalp the market? Absolutely. So pick an instrument. Something preferably we don't have up. You like MES? I'm guessing MQ. Everybody likes MQ. Pick an instrument that you want to trade, a symbol, a ticker, whichever one you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say gold, but NQ is fine.
No, let's do gold. Gold is better. Well, except for today, maybe. Gold and me, we don't like each other today. It's such a brat. But okay, so literally naked chart. You can scalp 1,000 ways. Like seriously, 1 minute there's going to be a lot of noise. I'm a little against the 1 minute. I know it feels better. Some people even have success on the 30-second chart. Can you do this stuff? Absolutely. My biggest argument against doing it and maybe considering going to 2 or even 5 minute is because you'll have to wait longer, but your scalp will be more accurate. And the problem with scalping that most people fail at is there's so many opportunities in here, and this blew your account this day, this day blew your account because you got stuck in the chop. And it looks obvious now, but in real time, you saw this big move, you wanted to buy back up to that liquidity, and you kept trying. And then you saw us pulling down, and you tried to sell to break the level, and then it kept just doing this, wicked down, wicked up, and by then your account is spent or your daily drawdown is spent. So the amount of oopses on the smaller time frame are just increased, and the amount of money is not increased. So you're decreasing the value of your risk to reward by going on that tiny time frame. So now that I've made my case, or to the best of my ability made my case, I would say the 2 or 5 minute. I know it seems slower, but I promise it's better. I'm going to turn back my indicators back on, and I'm going to turn off this breakout. Okay, so right now all I have on the chart is an EMA, futures table. I'll turn that off. VWAP, I'll even turn that off. Okay, we have a cloud that's pretty much a version of the 20 moving average and an EMA. This sucker is still going. It's up 25,000, you guys. Hold on. I will finish answering this question here in just a second. I promise.
And you can feel
25.
free to buy me some tacos for the next 6 months if you want.
Oh yeah, tacos. Tacos are very inexpensive. There's a place in Spain called TKO. My daughter loves them. It was 25,000, but I missed it.
What does it mean? Taco knockout or something?
I have no idea.
That's what it sounds like.
No idea. It's still trying to push. It's just taking its time. Oh man. I've gotten this as high as 70,000, which is
That's so beautiful.
it's crazy to see. Like it's wild to see, and then you're like, wait, this is
Yeah.
really possible. Once you
Yeah.
see this, you start trading it a little differently. You're like, this
Did you get the money from it?
the Apex is still hard. So I've gotten payouts with 4 brokers now, with 4 platforms now, and of course I've got my own live accounts and stuff. But when I say you can make 6 figures in a day, you can. It's just going to take us a lot of time and practice, especially with the technology. I need to figure out how to better mirror all these accounts to have the level of success I want to have. Because again, my goal, I don't think $1 million payout's that hard if you can do $20,000 in a day. Okay. It's honestly not that hard. It takes time, but it's not that hard. My goal for the 50K accounts is like 1K a day, 500 to 1K a day when I'm actually seriously trading. Right now, I'm just kind of testing things. So I'm not doing that so much. But the rest of the time, my goal is 1K a day on those accounts. This way, I don't break like the consistency rules and stuff. And it's very
Hey,
doable.
I got a question.
Okay. And then I'm going to talk about the scalping. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, real quick. So that the numbers are astronomical, but it could be done, with one account. I hear you say to me a couple times about $10,000 or something you made. Like, were you trading like every session that day, or what? I
No.
mean, were you I'm trying to figure out how in the world.
NQ. So guys, Sorry to be on NQ for a second, but here I'm on NQ. I'm gonna go up to the bigger time frame. Okay, this is a 30-minute time frame. This is yesterday. What is that? Monday's open? Yeah, Monday. Of course, we didn't have a call. So this is Monday's open, just so you guys can see what this is actually worth. And it's hard to see and understand if you bought this and actually just didn't close it. Okay. Okay. And let's say you were risking, um, especially where is that stinking little box at? Oh, there it is. I really need to move that down because I can never see it when it's up there. So let's say you're risking $1,000, okay? That's only one contract, right? But one contract, this right here is $7,000. This one move, one time. On one, if you had two on here, okay, that's $14,000. And this isn't even like the outsized moves. This is 1.59%. In the last few months, we've had days that are moving 5 and 6 and 7%, okay? Even during high news ports of last year, we still had days that are moving a lot of percent at a time. And that's one move, mind you, not including the fact that we went up 4%, down 3%, up 2%. I'm talking percentages of the actual, instrument that we're trading. So that this isn't that impossible. That's 7,000. And at the time, I didn't have like on a lock profit. I was just starting to play with some of those trails, to where it would trail, and some of them were moving so fast, like it was just trailing me all the way up. I was like, well, this is fun. Like, this move
Did
too.
did you use trailing when you did that? Just say that scenario right there. Did you use trailing or did you just break even and just let it go?
I on
Because
most of that stuff, I did not have automatic management, which is why I made more than what I'm making now. Is that I didn't
I,
have
I
any. Yeah,
I figured that after talking to you and you then after making that, you just really honed in on the take profit news or the prop firm news in general. Like, okay, not news, excuse me, the rules.
the rules. Yeah.
Because I went crazy one time because I like to pass prop firms in like one day or at least 1 to 3 days. So I risk a minimum of $500 when I'm in the evaluation stage. So I'm trying to get it done. And I almost forgot about the consistency rule one day. I was hitting it. And
Well, remember,
I
Take Profit
realized
Trader
like
doesn't have a consistency rule. So like, and I, like,
evaluation they do, Jenny.
well, yeah, the
Yeah.
evaluation, but not on the
But
funded.
it's huge though. It's 50%. So most people probably forget about it because it's so big.
No, trust me, I don't forget about it. But so remember, I came to Take Profit Trader after having been on Top Step and Apex. Okay. Those were the ones I was at before I even tried Take Profit Trader. So I came over thinking, okay, no limit. Watch this. Okay. I came over with that kind of loaded guns in mind. And again, one move, one contract. And if you have two on there, that's your $14,000. If you took that move and something else, I mean, that's $20,000 in a day. Remember, you can't make more than 10. I didn't even know you couldn't make more than 10 until the first time, my first funded account. I took a payout. I didn't know that was going to mess it up. And then my second funded account, I didn't know about the $10,000, I didn't know the rules. So my second funded account, I ran it up past the 10,000. They were switching account, I didn't know all the stuff that was going to happen and how like the withdrawal would impact it, how the rules were going to impact it. So it was a fun mess, but it was still a mess. And you learn. So now, yes, I honestly think if you're a pretty substantial trader, targeting $300 to $500 a day, very practical on your 50K accounts. I honestly think targeting $1,000 a day, very practical. Not practical, possible. Okay, on your $50,000 accounts, targeting between like let's say 700 and $1,000. So basically, don't allow yourself to make more than 1,000. Otherwise, try to kind of stop somewhere around that 700. You're not going to break the consistency rules. You'll get your payouts, you do all the things.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk about that. But real quick, I think in my mind, I was just like, okay, with my goals, getting to those 5 take profit accounts. You remember how we used to do it with Forex, where we have one account, one prop firm account that was like a not a blow up account. What do they call that, Jenny? The
Grow or
you have
blow.
what do you call it?
I called it grow or blow.
There you go. So you're kind of strong on that one. So that would be the one that I would say, okay, if I got 4 accounts that I'm managing conservatively, and then I got this account, oh man, risk no less than 1,000. So
Yeah, but
okay,
then
go ahead, Jen.
But then you find out about the 20,000, the other rules. You're like, oh man, okay. Okay, let me answer this. We've actually been on a little bit longer than I
Go
planned
ahead.
on. So let me answer this and then we will jump on again on Thursday morning. If you have questions, put them in the chat and all the things. But gold, 2 minute time frame. I gave you my reason for staying off the smaller time frames. I get how addicting and desirable it is to be on them because then you would have got in quicker, but you would have got knocked out quicker. So a very easy way to scalp. This is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And I definitely think it's worth your time. Pick a bigger moving average of your choice. Pick a smaller moving average of your choice, literally of your choice. JGS originally was the 50, the 8, well, the 50, the 9, and the 3. Okay. That is a strategy I've taught and used for a lot of years. A lot of people have had a lot of success with that as their base and then, adjusted it to themselves, right? But for me, you can even have one moving average if you choose, but I do like the idea of the moving average because it just kind of gives you a direction and it's not perfect. Price will bounce off. You will be wrong. It's part of it. But literally, as price is breaking down below that larger time frame moving average and retests, you're taking that as a sell. Okay. As price is breaking above and retests, that's going to be your best entry. You want the break and the retest. Now, sometimes you don't get this big retest, you miss this big move, unless you're counting this, right? But for the most part, if you literally, this should have it on there. That's the MACD. If you add any kind of oscillator kind of verification, or if you don't like oscillators, keep it off. But if you do just that, prices moving up, you're looking for every reason to buy. One way you can determine if price is moving up is use the VWAP. It is not my favorite. It's very common on this side of the industry, but it's honestly not my favorite. I think there are other ways. The 200 moving average, using yesterday's high and yesterday's close, I think is a better way. The 58 moving average, I think, is a better way. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what your eyes see best. But either way, pick a couple of things that your eyes see best, decide the trend on the day, get a pretty clear direction on that. And until that has changed, you're doing your best to follow that. Now, sometimes it's going to behoove you to take the counter trend. We've extended past 10, 20 ETR, past the level that you were looking at. Fine, take the counter trend. Otherwise, never take the counter trend. From there, all you're really doing is price is moving above. You're waiting for a retest, also known as a flag. If you're using a version of like JGS, which we have tools on MT5 and MT4 that will kind of give you arrows and contract sizes and stop losses and take profits and stuff, which is really cool. But ultimately, you retest into that smaller time frame moving average, you're buying. You retest into that bigger time frame moving average, you're buying. This is the better entry, right? You're retesting. That also looks like flags. I know this looks so simple and it's hard to kind of get the muscle memory at doing it, but it's really not that complicated. You're just looking for these areas. So right now we know we're moving up. There's no doubt that we're moving up. So you're buying every opportunity you can get. Your stop loss is below that current candle, previous candle, unless there's some major, structure there. You're going for at least a 1.5 to 1, 1 to 1. Start with a 1 to 1. I know that's not sexy or desirable for YouTube, but you're statistically more likely to hit your 1 to 1 trade than you are your 2 to 1 or your 3 to 1. No matter what edge you're using, you are statistically more likely to hit your 1 to 1 trade than any of your 2 to 1s and 3 to 1s and 19 to 1s. So start there. And then from there, by all means, hone your entries, limit how many trades you're taking, and go for the bigger 2 and 3 and 4 and 10 to 1s. That's fine. But most of the time, this 10 to 1 move doesn't happen. It's nice when it does. And it's even nicer when it does, then you can actually catch it because you're present. But this isn't the move we're always catching. Let's be honest. We're learning how to make money on these moves. And if you get good at making money on these moves, FYI, this is New York. This was also New York this time. So bad example. Sorry. You guys get the idea. Like just go where it's going. This doesn't give you a chance to re-enter, so we're never gonna chase the trend. It might mean we're sad because we're missing it, but it's very, very simple. Selling looks the same. We're breaking below. We retested a little bit with that bullish candle. We broke below that 20 moving average. This is just a cloud version. It's between a 19 and a 21, kind of to give me a thicker version of the 20, kind of keeps me out of some of my own, impatientness. But we close below. We retest with that first bullish candle, okay? And we're buying as soon as price continues beyond the close or the open, I guess, of this candle, and you're in profit. You can trail by candle. You can go for a straight 1 to 1. You can target previous lows or areas of interest, and you do it again. And you just get really good at that. limit yourself to 1 to 3 trades per session or 1 to 3 trades per day and be done. I know that sounds like a crash course, but you don't need to go spend $1,000 in course. You can do that. If you want me to clean that up a little bit for you, I definitely will. But don't go spend $1,000 a course. Put your own $1,000 into your own account and just practice that. Even if it means putting $1,000 into your own, like, I'm trying to think of an account like, oh, Oanda. I think Oanda allows you to trade here just to practice it, right? Just practice the process. Or get yourself a $30 or $100 prop firm and do 1 micro. The goal is not to make money or get a payout or pass for that first month. Instead of going to buy, some next system, put that into a prop firm or to your own account and say, okay, I don't plan on making money this month. I'm just going to practice the process this month. Do 1 micro and then look at your numbers. Are you 55% accurate? How many of them, when you reviewed those trades, went more than 1 to 1? How many of them were like emotional trades? How many of them were you not paying attention to the news, or were you over trading, revenge trading, et cetera, et cetera? And that's it. It's not a secret recipe. Most of the reason people fail is all the psychological stuff, by far.
I got you. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're
That was real
welcome.
in depth, real quick, but I caught everything that you said.
What strategy do you currently use?
Similar to the crossover strategy. So I researched like some of the old videos that you have with like Irving. I think it was like the parabolic 10 points or 10 pips
10
that you
pips.
could live for. Yeah. So I'm just kind of using that strategy and kind of transferring it over into futures. So far, and to your point, you're right. I've been able to get a 1 to 1 at least, but my aim is for at least a 1.5 to 1 to 2 risk reward. And I normally do, excuse me, I normally do the New York Open on NQ, but going back in the day with the golden ticket and Scott's Cool Tools, I was able to with Forex use that and make like 30 grand just with the golden ticket. So I was kind of just trying to implement that into futures because I
Okay,
didn't.
wait. What you just said, the golden ticket, also known as JGS, that's my strategy, right? Scott made the tool based off of my strategy, but you can do the same thing here. It doesn't have the fancy bells and whistles for lot sizes, but a lot of the people doing futures with us now are using the golden ticket mentality. So if you remember what the golden ticket was based off of, it gave arrows and more information, but it's not to dumb it down, but it's not rocket science, okay? It's the fast MACD is coming up above, right? It's you're breaking above that bigger time frame moving average, and I've sped it up a little bit for futures. So instead of the 50, it's now the 20. I always liked the 8 even back then, and it's the same thing. So you've got this confluence, you're buying. Sure, sometimes you've got the confluence, you're gonna lose. Okay, there's just no way around. You're gonna lose sometimes, but it will work here too. So if you made 30 grand in Forex, you can make 300 grand here because with Forex, the price movement is substantially different. So take everything you did those months. We probably don't have access to that data from those brokers anymore. I know I don't have access to most of my data, but review what you did and how you did it. That's a win. That's a win. That's a win. Probably a loss unless you broke even. Win, loss. Eh. If you try to take another one, you lost. If not, there's no trade. Win. All of this, even this chop, you would have survived the chop depending on where you're putting your stop loss over and over. It's the same strategy. So the same thing I just went over is the same thing as JGS. Same thing, just said a little different.
I got you. I think that my eyes are just, just seeing it differently, especially with the indicator. It made it a lot easier. Kind of what you always say, whatever your eyes, whatever help your eyes see better,
That
so to speak.
100%, 100%,
So
whatever
of
helps
course
you
I don't
see.
have access to all that data just because, what happened MT4 and everything. So
I do. I see. I think the hardest part wasn't how much it blew up my life. The hardest part was I lost years worth of like evidence. It's not like evidence for other people, but my own like when you're feeling frustrated, like you go through a bad period in futures, I can go back to that and say, wait, I've made X amount. I know I can do this. Let me just review what I've done. All my back testing and stuff for Dragonfly, all my years worth of evidence for like big PAMs and things of that nature. I don't have any of it because, well, we're on a brand new broker as of what last year. So I have all that. I've got a good however many months, I think about a year, but it's all gone. All of it's gone. I was gonna look for an arrow, but that's gonna take too long, so I'm not gonna look for an arrow. But great conversation. Honestly, it was really fun to hang out with you guys. Trades were I'm not gonna fib, but I know a few people had a lot of fun. And the highest my P&L got up to was 25. Right now it's sitting at about 18. Still holding a $280 trade. I coulda, shoulda, woulda closed that. So I should have, woulda, coulda, but I didn't, and that's part of it. Sometimes you close too early, sometimes you didn't, and it's going to come all the way back there. So, and you never know which time that is. You're always hoping it's the time that's going to take off, but it's never really, it's not guaranteed. That's for darn sure. Just to kind of show you, that's where we're ending, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When it pulls down, I mean, that's a good 7 grand evaporated, but that's okay. On these accounts, I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to close out too much above 1,000 anyways. So on some of them particularly, but we'll see. And that's all we've got for tonight. So we'll be back on Thursday. If you have questions, comments, all the things, if you made money, please go put it in the chat. I know it's goofy. I know that everyone's that salesy person. I'm not so much. So help me help you. Go put it in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that make YouTube do the things. And happy Tuesday, guys. Take care and God bless.
Thank you, Jenny. Have a pleasant evening.
You too.
Thanks,
Hey,
Jenny.
David, I want to see that payout like in 10 days.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, I'm no pressure.
Oh, 15. Good
Okay.
night, guys.
Right.